Very much, and let me first of all greet you, the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Timothy Harris, my colleague, the Director of Marine Resource, Mr. Mark Williams, and also I want to say good evening to all who are listening and viewing this program this evening, Leadership Matters. It is indeed my pleasure being here this evening, and I also want to wish and congratulate the entire Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, all of its citizens at home and abroad, on the attainment of 37 years of independence. This is indeed a historic moment for us. This evening, I am pleased to be here as the new Minister of Agriculture in the federal government, and I'm charged with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Marine Resources. And my job is to ensure that we create the enabling environment in this sector so as to transform the lives and the livelihood of the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'll make a brief presentation at this point in time, and of course we expect some robust debate and dialogue later on in the program. As I begin to make this presentation, I look at the pandemic situation that we have faced over the last 6 months at least. And the effect of COVID-19 on our world economies and trade has demonstrated that Caribbean countries must modify their current economic development model, which is highly dependent on tourist arrivals and food imports. The pandemic has brought to light 6 of the Caribbean region's main vulnerabilities. These include 1, the impact of climate change, evident by a longer period of drought and more aggressive hurricanes. 2, countries' high level of indebtedness. 3, high incidence of chronic diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and various forms of cancers. 4, dependence on tourism. 5, food insecurity, and of course, 6, the challenges faced with marketing difficulties. The current crisis has also demonstrated just how fragile the developing agriculture model for St. Kitts and Nevis really is. Currently, the tourism sector accounts for almost 50% of our gross domestic product, GDP, while agriculture a paltry 1.5%. It is very clear that tourism is the hardest hit with this particular pandemic and will be the slowest to recover. As such, this has and will continue to negatively impact revenue streams, employment, lives and livelihood, and governance. This makes it imperative that as a government, we must invest in the revitalization of the agricultural sector and link it to the tourism sector in order to gradually transform our economic development model. It is critical that we highlight and appreciate the contribution that agriculture can make in the development of food security here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We must also acknowledge that we now have an opportunity to produce more as to depend less on imports, revitalize our economy, create new jobs and businesses related to food production, as well as improving our value-added products by replacing imported food with more nutritious local products. The question, therefore, is where do we go from here? It is vital that we do not simply hold on to the practices of the past, but we must be cognizant of the fact that getting our food systems right will be central to a resilient recovery of the agricultural sector. The haphazard approach of producing a lot of the same food items all at the same time cannot be the practice going forward. This approach has led to a glut on the market, which has led to a reduction in prices and ultimately wastage of food. As such, innovation, resiliency, and sustainability must be our guiding principles if we are to achieve food security in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. In our quest to stimulate an agricultural revolution that will guarantee food security and sustainability, we must create the enabling environment which will strengthen the linkages amongst our farmers, the government and its various ministries and departments, or allied agencies and or financial institutions. Through these linkages, we will be in a better position to establish numerical targets or targeted goals for St. Kitts and Nevis that are aimed at reducing the current leakage of imported agricultural products. These leakages are estimated at almost $1 billion annually. This cannot be sustainable for a secured future. So as to achieve this, that is the reduction of these leakages through imports, we must establish clearly defined numerical target goals for individual farmers aimed at incentivizing them to perform at their optimal levels in the production of selected crops, whether it be tomatoes, watermelon, squash, sweet potatoes, lettuce, pumpkins, etc. Further, the Ministry and Department of Agriculture on both St. Kitts and Nevis have been engaged over the past month and have compiled a proposal which will see the establishment of a broiler slaughtering and processing facility, as well as a broiler hatchery. Data received from our Customs Department on both St. Kitts and Nevis shows that between the years 2015 to 2019, in excess of 18,683,783.976 pounds of chicken was imported into the Federation with a cash value of well in excess of $841,934.71. It therefore means that an investment in the poultry industry, more so the establishment of a broiler industry, will certainly create the enabling environment for growth in this particular industry. It will provide employment. It will therefore also provide a sustainable amount of fresh chicken available to our citizens here in the Federation. This will ultimately lead to a reduction in the importation of chicken into the Federation and therefore provide the sustainability and security, food security that is, that we yearn for in the Federation. Additional to our efforts in the Ministry and Department of Agriculture, we are seeking to develop a livestock work plan which is geared towards increased market penetration in pork, beef, and mutton production. Our plan calls for a gradual rehabilitation of the Bayford's farm, which will see the development of swine breeding, cattle breeding, and also small ruminants. This investment will provide us with a goal and opportunity, an environment for growth as well in this particular area. And I do believe the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will be much better off as a result. I further want to look at some of the challenges that we face in this sector. We have had tremendous issues to deal with and grapple with in the area of water. Agriculture production is highly dependent on water, and of course, there are certain risks that are associated with lack of reliable supply of water. Improving agriculture water management is therefore essential to a sustainable and productive agriculture food sector. We have been working with the Ministry of Communications and Works and our international partners to seek to combat this issue of water shortage and lack of water to our farmers. As we all are aware, rain-fed agriculture is the dominant form of agricultural practice here on the island of St. Kitts. Of course, we have had a situation in Nevis where we are able to provide to our farmers irrigation systems. We are seeking to provide additional storage to our farmers here in St. Kitts with the improvement of the water collection systems that will be put in place. This would, of course, improve the lives and the livelihood of our farmers and eliminate some of the difficulties and challenges that they've had over the years. My ministry is committed to putting agriculture to work for us, helping our farmers in their effort to enhance and expand, and ensuring that we work together to build a more resilient sector is first and foremost for this administration and the Ministry and Department of Agriculture. But to achieve this, we must be committed to a plan of action and coordination, policy development, promoting commercialized farmers, and providing greater technical support through our extension divisions to our farmers. The stagnancy that has marred the agricultural sector is being removed by a stream of strategically directed interventions for the enhancement and transformation of agriculture. We are determined to reset the dialogue, to restage and reposition our resources, and to set things in motion for the best interests of our federation. Other areas of focus will be the troubling land preparation issues, land allocation issues, livestock management issues, youth and women in agriculture, and also entrepreneurship. We will address these in the upcoming months and years. I want to stop there at this time because I'm sure we'll have some robust discussions as we go along, but I want to make the pledge to the entire Federation that this government stands ready to assist our farmers. This government stands ready to ensure that the stability and the sustainability that we look for in agriculture will once again be first and foremost in our thoughts and our actions. I welcome your calls later in the program so that we can dialogue and make sure that we can work together as a nation to build agriculture and to make it the pillar of our economy that we have always sought for. Thank you very much.